Hey there guys, welcome to the KEYUP channel and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be learning about the KEYUP event in JavaScript. So what we're going to be building is, if you take a look at the browser to our right here, you can see we've got this image of a football. Now what we can do with this football is actually just move this using the arrow keys and the KEYUP event. So if I use the right arrow key, you see it moves to the right. If I press down, it moves it football down, left, of course left, and then up, arrow key puts it up, back where it started. Now this can actually go anywhere in the browser, so this is how powerful KEYUP press event can be. So let's go ahead and create this app. So we'll refresh that, and then we'll just go into index.html and we'll just insert some boilerplate, and then we'll link all of our stuff. So link style.css, and then also link our script tag, which is app.js. And then let's just change the document title. So football, simple, it's just going to be a div which houses a image tag. So our image is the image we're going to be using here. So we've got the image folder in the file explorer, and this just has a football.png file, which is just this image. You can use any image you like, it doesn't have to be a football, but you can pretty much get this anywhere on the internet. Let's link that now. Images / .football.png. We don't need the alt for this, we'll just give this an ID of football. And then let's open this up with live server. And there's our big football there. So obviously we don't want it this big, so let's go into the style sheet and give it some styling. So this has the ID of football. Let's give this a border radius of 50%. Let's give this a height of 60 pixels as well as a width of 60 pixels. And there's our football there. So that's all we're going to need for the styling. Let's head into the app.js now and give it some functionality. So the first thing we're going to need to do is just target this football so we can control it and manipulate it with the arrow keys. So say const football equals document dot get element by ID, has the ID of football. And then what we're going to also need to do is just create a variable which is going to allow us to move the football by a certain amount of pixels, and this pixels in this example is going to be 10. So we'll say let move football by, and then we'll say, let's say 10, which in this case is going to represent 10 pixels. So this will make more sense in just a moment. Now what we're going to need to do from here is just add an event listener to the window and the onLoad, which is going to give the football here a position of absolute, set the left and top to 0. So if you take a look at this example, you can see it's actually right in the corner, whereas this one isn't. What we'll do now is position this absolute, and you'll see why in a moment, but we'll say window.add event listener, and then we're going to say the load event, which is an entirely different event, but this is essentially just an event which triggers every time the window loads. So we want to say every time the window loads, we want to set the football, we want to set the style of it to be position equal to absolute, and then again the football dot style dot left is going to equal 0, and then football dot style dot top is also going to be equal to 0. Save that. The football is now wedged right in that corner. So again, what this is doing is that when the window loads, the event fires off, and then it just positions the football absolute in the top left corner to 0. So now to move the football, we're going to be using a switch statement, and we're going to be using the event object to target the key. So every time we press the key using the KEYUP event, it will move the football depending on the arrow we press. So we'll say const, it's going to take the event object as an argument, and I'll just show you guys why. So we'll say console.log the event. Let's open this up in the console. Just add an event listener to this so we can see what's going on. So we'll say every time we use the key up, we want to fire off that move football function. So anytime you press any key, it's going to fire off that event. So if I press a key there, you can see I've pressed G, it's fired off the event. You can see all the different properties associated with that keyboard event. And the one that we're interested in is going to be this key property. So if I actually use the arrow keys now instead of a letter key, and we take a look at the value of that key, you can see it's arrow right. And that's because I've pressed the right arrow key. If I press up now, see it's arrow up. And then if I press left, it's arrow left, then arrow down. So that's the property we're going to be targeting. So we'll go back in our function here, and then we'll say switch. And then we want to target the event.key. And then inside here, the first case being, let's say, arrow left. Whenever it's arrow left, we want to grab the football again, dot style attribute, dot left. We essentially want to set that equal to whatever we move the football by, which in this case is 10, whenever we hit the arrow left key. Now, because this is actually a string, we need to use the parseInt method to turn this into an integer, so then we can actually minus 10 pixels, because again this variable is an integer. So we'll say parse int football dot style dot left. So now that makes that string into an integer. Then we want to set it to minus move football by, which in this case is 10, and then we need to make it into pixels. So we'll just say pixels. So if I save this now, we should be able to move our football using the arrow left. So I'll save this, and then if I press the arrow left, you see it's moved our football to the left by 10 pixels. Now let's just make case for the rest of the arrow keys. Before we do that, we'll just add a break here, and let's duplicate that 3 more times. Let's say arrow right, arrow up, and arrow down. And then let's make this an add, change these to top, then also make this an add. So if I save this now, we should be able to control the football using the arrow keys. So if I press right, you see it fires off the arrow right event, and it also moves the football right. It fires off the arrow down event, move down, left, fires off the arrow left event, football moves left, and then up. So it fires off the arrow up event, places the football where it started when the window loads. And again, we can move this anywhere we like on the screen. So that's going to be it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.